said to my grandma, "Don't move, there's a snake." Happy Saturday, everyone. Welcome to Story Saturday. Real quick before I get this story going, next Saturday will be the Season 1 finale of Story Saturday. So I'm going to share this story with you guys today. One more story next Saturday that's kind of a Halloween-ish related story, and then I'm going to give it 2 weeks off and pick it back up in November. So to get this story started, my grandfather purchased about 15 to 20 acres of land out in the western part of the town that I live in when my dad and his brothers and sisters were really young. He built a house there. The land that he purchased was next to my great-grandparents' house. So, seeing as this property had a decent amount of land and it was also located next to a mountain and a nature preserve, it was no stranger to have bears wandering in the backyard, deer wandering in the background. There were timber rattlesnakes, there were black rat snakes that used to hang from the trees down by the brook. There was just an abundance of animals that lived on that property. Anyways, flash forward to when I was about 10 or 11 years old. My grandfather had just passed away the year before, and we used to take my grandmother out on Saturday night to either one of her 3 favorite restaurants, or she'd come over here for a cookout, or she'd go over to my dad's girlfriend's house for a cookout. Nonetheless, after bringing her out, we would always bring her back home and then hang out at the house for a little bit and everything like that. So my uncle was living there at the time. He had just gotten divorced, and one thing that we had done was replace the garage door so it actually had a tighter fit when it hit the bottom where the cement pad was. Now, they had a problem a couple of times in the past where snakes had gotten into the house, but they were always able to discover the hole that the snake was able to get into, or they were able to figure out, oh, it got in through the back door when we were moving something into the house, or it got in through the basement through the garage door. Nonetheless, the door was left open, and we were down in my grandparents' basement. We had just moved a bunch of stuff that, pretty much cleared up after my grandfather died. We're cleaning out stuff, getting stuff tidied up nonetheless. My grandmother was saying how it was so nice to have the basement again because my dad had 6 brothers and sisters. There were 7 children in total, so this basement was just jam-packed with every single thing from them growing up, the entire big family growing up. So my grandmother was just saying, oh, it's so nice that we can come down to the basement again. I can sit down here at night and watch TV or, watch Jeopardy, watch any of my favorite game shows. We're standing there right next to the couch, and for some reason, I just happened to look down, and from underneath the couch, a black snake slithered out in between my grandmother's shoes, and she had like flip-flops on at the time. I just screamed, "Grandma, don't move, there's a snake." And she looked at me like I had 10 heads. She didn't understand. I'm like, "Grandma, don't move, there's a snake. Grandma, don't move, there's a snake." I must have said this like 4 or 5 times. My dad looked down, realized what it was. I don't know how he did it. He grabbed a waste paper basket and kicked the snake with his boot into the basket and then ran it outside and threw it outside. Come to find out, this type of snake I had never seen before, so I wasn't sure what it was. Being in the Boy Scouts, I've seen all different pictures of snakes, and growing up hiking around this area, I was always taught about all the different venomous snakes, so I wasn't too sure if the snake was venomous or not. Nonetheless, this type of snake was called a ringneck racer. It was a long black snake. It was a good 3 feet or so, about 1 meter long, and it had this yellow band around its neck. Anyways, though, that's just my little snake story about finding a snake in my grandmother's basement. Personally, I don't like snakes. I understand their purpose on the food chain. I understand their role in nature. I can appreciate them for that. I can admire them from a distance, but as far as owning one as a pet or even picking one up, I have another story that I'll actually tell you someday at a later time, probably in Season 2, involving why I don't like snakes. But if you guys enjoyed this episode, let me know by hitting the thumbs up button. Comment down below if anything like this has ever happened to you. And I'll see everybody on Monday for My Tech Monday. Peace.